Tell me what's good, tell me what's nice. Keeping it cool, keeping it calm, keeping it light. Time to rejoice. What's good, what's good, what's good with John and Joyce.
Well, hello, and welcome to another edition of What's Good with John and Joyce. We've been doing this for a little over a year right now, Joyce. Do you believe that?
No.
I mean, I'm shocked that we're still on.
Right. Hey, no one canceled us.
I'd like to say a big thank you to all of our sponsors. Woodwinds Wedding and Special Events Venue and Silvio Sauces, thewoodwinds.com. Ascend Bank. They don't just see your accounts, they see your vision and ambitions. Ascend.bank. Moonshots, a vegan-based company that delivers the highest quality organic juices, coffee, bowls, and so much more. DrinkMoonshots.com. Linda Toscano of Caldwell Banker Realty in Guilford, Connecticut. With over 17 years of experience, Linda is known for her authentic, client-focused approach and expert guidance for buyers and sellers. Now, if you're thinking about making a move, Linda Toscano is someone you can trust. We're deeply grateful to all of our sponsors for their support and for partnering with us to uplift and enrich the lives of our listeners and viewers. But this has just been wonderful, and just thank you so much. You can subscribe for free on YouTube anytime. Share it with your friends who need good news. There's just so much negativity out there, so much divisiveness.
You smell good today.
Oh, thank you.
Not that you don't every day, but I just got like a whiff of, what did you do? Took a shower?
Yeah. Our guest was saying the same thing when I walked in, you know.
You smell good. You got your fancy shoes on.
I do. I figured let me wear something different. I keep wearing the same shoes. They call them gunboats. Let me show them right here because they're like size 14.
Oh, yeah.
At some point, at some point, I think I was wearing shoe boxes before because they didn't have shoes big enough, until, but I found a place that had big
You know what?
shoes.
I used to thought people were saying gum boats.
Gunboats.
Like
That's what my
gum,
basketball
G-U-M.
coach called them. What's that, gumboats?
Yeah, like gum boats.
Right.
Like you stepped in gum.
Right, no.
No, it's gun.
Gunboats.
Where does that come from?
I guess a Navy guy, he was my coach.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Vinny Gagliardi, a
Vinny Gag.
local phenom,
Yeah.
baseball coach, basketball coach, and he called me gunboats because of my big feet.
Should I start calling you that?
Sure, if you
Right.
want. Yeah. But hey, listen, we're not afraid to tackle, the tough subjects on What's Good with John and Joyce. We keep it light, but there's always a silver lining with all of our shows, Joyce.
Yes.
But this is really
Every
heavy.
cloud has a silver lining.
It does.
Yeah.
And this is pretty heavy stuff. But the bottom line is we have a gentleman here he just does such amazing things. I've known his family for a long, long time. We go back. Matter of fact, I DJ'd a lot of events for the family as well. But I'm going to invite Steve Terreri to join us right now.
Steve
Steve,
Terreri, I'd
thank
love
you
to hear
so
your story
much.
because I haven't known you except for a few minutes here.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I dressed like I was going to go to church here today. So.
I love the way you dress.
Now you look very
Yes.
professional.
All right,
You look
cool.
great, Steve.
No, you make us look good.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you so much for inviting me to come and talk to you about our family and kind of what we went through and how we're trying to turn a very, very dark situation into something
So please
good.
tell us your story.
Yeah. So my brother-in-law's name is Paul Dostie, and he owned Jerry's Transmission here in Guilford. His father started the business in 1958, and he took the business over. And in 2021, he passed away from glioblastoma after 17 months of the diagnosis. And so, the whole family went through, his trials and tribulations in terms of treatment and so on. And I can remember taking him to Memorial Sloan Kettering. I took him to Dana-Farber, me and his wife Jeannie.
Yes.
And we also took him down to Duke and got him in a clinical trial, tried everything we could think of. And, he kept, I know John knows him. So, he kept a big smile on his face, and he kept saying to me, "We got this, Steve. We're gonna beat this, and then we're gonna have a big party."
And Steve, for those two people tuning in right now, what exactly is that he was battling? What was he battling?
Glioblastoma is brain tumor, and it's the most common form of brain.
And that's inoperable?
It's operable, but the mortality is very high.
It keeps coming back, I believe.
Yeah. Most folks that are diagnosed with glioblastoma don't survive. And so, we were trying. We took him to one of the specialists down at Duke and got him in a clinical trial. And then he, kind of came out of the trial. It didn't work for him. And like I said, he kept saying, "Don't worry about this. We got it." A big smile on his face. And once we do, we're going to have a big party. Well, he didn't make it, and we throw a big party every year to try to keep his memory
That's
alive.
lovely.
And Steve, what was his initial reaction? We all know Paul put a happy spin on everything. That was his nature. But when you're given a sentence like that and you do your research and find out that it's, that the mortality rate is so high, what was it like for him and everybody involved, all of you loved ones?
Well, I don't, Paul really never showed in front of me, any kind of fear or, negativity. He was positive pretty much all the time. His family was, reeling, and, they kind of knew what was likely to come.
Right.
So that was very, very difficult. He's got 3 girls, a set of twins, and an older daughter. So that was really tough, tough time for the whole family. I think back on the day he passed away. He was we had him at Middlesex Hospital for something, and the hospital needed to send him to Yale for some tests. And so we sent him to Yale for the test, and then the physician at Yale said the test isn't worth doing. He's dying. And so I got a call from his wife Jeannie, and she was crying and hysterical and saying, "Hey, I can't get him home. There's no ambulances. There's this big long line of folks waiting for an ambulance."
Yeah.
And this all of a sudden this woman who knew Paul said, "I know Paul Dostie," and got him to the front of the line, and ended up getting him home, and we had a bed set up in the family room, and within 6 hours he had passed away. But the real story behind that story is the person who got him the ambulance. I don't know if I've told you this story.
I think didn't he work on her car
like 20 years ago,
and gave her basically did it for almost nothing.
almost nothing.
Wow.
Said, "Pay me back someday."
Yeah.
That's the way he was.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind. That's who he was.
Yeah.
And I was advising him on his business, and it used to drive me crazy.
Paul, you're too nice. You're
You're giving away too much. McDonald's doesn't give you a break because you're Paul Dostie. They charge you the full price for the Big Mac. And I kept talking to him about that, but he was built a different way. And he saw this woman come in, and she couldn't pay. And so he said, "Don't worry about it. Give me what you can. I'll take care of it some other day." So this was her way of paying him back.
Yes.
And it was unbelievable because, we got to be in the room with him. I wasn't physically in the room, but his daughters and Jeannie were there. We got him there, settled, and went home. And when I drove my car into the garage, I had gotten a phone call saying he'd passed.
Mm-hmm.
So then I went back to the home and handled all the undertaker stuff for them.
Yeah.
Got them out of the mix for that. And I think the other thing that kind of speaks to the kind of guy he was is his wake. I think there was 1,200 people came through his funeral. The church was jammed. I'm doing this eulogy to this big, almost like a rock crowd.
What's that say about Paul?
It was unbelievable.
Yes.
And virtually every story online when we were waiting was just everybody had a Paul story, and it was always good.
Yeah.
And it was a joyful time because he was a joyful man.
Yeah. We had our celebration at Thimble Island Brewery afterwards, and there's a story behind that too. But we had a microphone set up, and folks would get up and say something about Paul, and it was all these guys who had started their career as auto mechanics because Paul pulled them out of the backyard, working on a car, and turned all these backyard mechanics into technicians that were earning livings as mechanics, as electricians, et cetera, et cetera. These really tough guys getting up there telling their stories, crying, and it was very deep.
He was a real mentor to so many people. He was almost like a Johnny Appleseed.
Yeah,
when I think about Paul.
Yeah, he's just a good guy. the Thimble Island thing, I think also it was part of the reason why we thought Care Foundation would fly.
That's the foundation you've put together with your family.
Yeah,
right?
I'll tell a little bit about that in a second. But
Yeah.
I don't know if you were there. While he was alive, we did a fundraiser at Thimble Island Brewery.
Yeah, I
We
was
had
there for that.
thousands of people there. Our U.S. senators came. Blumenthal was there. It was a really, really great event. He was so happy. It was after his surgery, and it was a positive event. So his sister and I and his brother Brian and Jeannie said, this is when he had passed. This is something that we think we could kind of capitalize on, and we developed the Paul Dostie KARE Foundation. So it's we're about 5 years old. And our mission really is to help families struggling financially due to the brain tumor disease and another disease called HCM, which is a hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which is a cardiac disease that one of his daughters has. And so, so what we do is we've raised funds through this event called CareFest, and we give two $5,000 grants out every month to a family struggling financially because of either one of those diseases. And to date, I think I'll put one in here.
I get the sense we're going to have some, positive news here, right?
We have we've helped 78.
Wow, look at that.
Over 78 families.
78
That's
families.
wonderful.
You can take a look at that if you want.
And the CARE Foundation, I love, is an acronym for kindness always rewards everyone.
That's right.
What a beautiful message.
Yeah.
It really
So I'm
is.
trying to wrap my head around this because Paul worked within the family business
Right.
as a mechanic.
He's a master transmission mechanic.
So a master transmission mechanic. Look at the lives he touched. I mean, so when people think, well, I can't do this or how would I reach people? I mean, he wasn't an on-air personality like John speaking to people. He was just one-on-one with people.
Yeah.
That's that ripple effect.
It's like the compound effect. Everybody that Paul came in contact with had a positive impression of him. You could not help it because he had that aura about him, that big, big smile. He was very gregarious.
Yeah.
And just
And
kind.
they trusted him also.
Yeah. I always describe that Paul was a master transmission mechanic. He could have been a GQ model.
Yeah.
Or he
Good looking
could have
good.
been a tight end for the New England Patriots.
Wow.
I mean, he was a big dude,
Yeah.
strapping, never lifted a weight in his life, but it looked like he spent all his time in the gym.
Yep, that's right.
And he was just a unique individual, a unique guy.
So your event is coming up.
It's
is
on June 13th.
June 13th at the Guilford Fairgrounds, and it has a country theme to it.
Country theme this year. We have 3 country bands and 1 rock band, and we're doing some line dancing lessons.
Are you going to be leading the line dancing, Steve?
No, I don't think so.
I always wanted to learn line dancing. It always looks like so much fun.
They're going to teach, I guess, 1 song, and then we're going to have a space in one of the barns where they can line dance for the rest of the night if they want.
Yeah. Now, getting back to what's going on, too, with this, I mean, how many families in Connecticut have been diagnosed with either one of these diseases you've talked about?
Geez, I don't know the numbers. I don't know the numbers.
Yeah. It's not very common, though, is it?
It's the number one. GBM is the number one type of brain tumor.
Right, but
GBM is
I mean,
the
overall, like compared to other diseases, I mean, you don't hear about a lot of people
No,
having
you
it.
hear
Yeah.
about heart disease.
Yeah, they
Heart
call
disease.
they call it a rare
ALS.
disease. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
they call it a rare disease, but it's amazing how often we hear about folks with this disease, and there's way more folks out there that need help than we can help. But we try real hard to.
Well, I know someone dealing with that now, and I had never heard of that before. He had that. So
And it really makes you think inward about how you'd respond if you were given a sentence like that. It makes you really look at life a whole lot different. The stuff that we worry about, Stephen Joyce, it's really a waste of time.
Be honest, it's really had an impact on me personally. I have 4 kids and 8 grandkids, and I was more of a charity begins at home kind of guy. But this changed the way. Life is short, number one, and number 2, people are tremendously generous. It's unbelievable how generous
Yes.
folks are, and it's changed the way I view that too.
Yes.
Being more generous and with your time, with your money, with your tension, that kind of thing. So it's had an impact on me for sure.
I've always felt people are good by nature. They really are, you know?
Yeah.
People, there's so much news out there and the focus is on the bad, but it's all about where you put your attention on. And there's a lot of good people, like you said, Steve, out there.
Yeah, that's
doing
true.
amazing things.
It's amazing. I mean, a lot of small businesses on the shoreline are really supporting our foundation. It's the corporate sponsors that really have driven our ability to do these two $5,000 grants every month. So we try real hard to, swell our bank account in June and have it almost gone when we start CareFest the next year.
Now, what about the silver lining in all this? Do you find that people are more optimistic in the medical field about what's going on with chances of recovery, or at least getting a little bit more of a survival rate?
Well, not with GBM is not. Hasn't been many breakthroughs there, but I think the positive silver lining is that we're finding families that really are in need, and we're turning this negative black event in our family into something positive, and we've helped 78 families since we started. So that's, I think, the silver lining.
And does insurance cover, is that the reason why you're raising money? Is it because insurance doesn't cover everything, or is that when the main breadwinner is down and out, the family needs help?
I think it's the latter.
Yeah.
We've helped families with like a mortgage payment. They needed money for that. We've helped families that couldn't afford a flight to get a second opinion because insurance doesn't cover things like that, or lodging or that kind of thing. We've helped folks like that.
There's a lot of people, do you think, that are really well off, and they've been devastated by this, haven't they?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, financially.
Yeah.
Not just emotionally.
Train
Yeah,
it.
if Paul applied for a grant to the Paul Dostie KARE Foundation, he wouldn't get one because he had means.
Right.
So we look really hard for folks who are struggling.
Right.
Like we had an example of a woman in Boston who had two daughters, both with brain tumors, being treated with a bone marrow transplant, and the mom had a cancer as well. And she was getting evicted from her apartment, had no money, and one of her daughters passed away from the treatment, and she had no money. So I'm in the bone marrow transplant business, and one of the physicians found out about my foundation, called me up, and we gave this woman $5,000, got her off the street. So I mean that's the kind of thing that we do.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
You see, I mean, I'm just so glad you're here, Steve, that we, from a personal standpoint, the way I feel about your family and the way I felt about Paul, and we had a mutual friend who just passed away in our hometown recently, too, that I just absolutely adored. It just broke my heart. But I'm just so glad you're reaching out and helping people in their really, their darkest moments. Yeah. And you're putting the time and effort in to do this.
Yeah, the other disease, HCM, is there's a little brighter picture there. Because those are.
And that's an acronym for. I know I'm making you say it again.
Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy.
Okay.
It's a genetic disease. It causes a thickening of the walls between the chambers of the heart. And Paul's daughter, one of his twins, has
Allie?
it. Allie, yeah.
Yes.
And so she's had it her whole life, and she's right now on a transplant list. So she's on a list to get a transplant. And we've helped a lot of families that are in the same situation that have gotten a transplant, little young kids as well as folks that are in their 20s like Allie. So we work with that disease too. But that's a little bit brighter. I mean, it's not easy to be sick and be waiting for a heart, but once you get the heart, your life can restart, and that's kind of what she's looking to.
You think about the little things in life that irritate you, and then you think about this. It's not just Paul, but I mean, when Paul was alive, his girl, his Allie, was always there for her, cheering her on every time she'd have a medical appointment.
Yeah,
and her dad, was going through a situation. It's so tough, for the entire family.
Yeah,
and I just pray for them all.
There's this great picture. It's hanging in Jeannie's office at Jerry's. I should have brought it with me. I show it to this when I go out to talk to sponsors. They love this picture, this poster. I mean, it really tells the story. But this picture is Allie's had, I think, 4 open heart surgeries, 4 or 5. And her last open heart surgery, she's in a walker with all the poles and all the medicine. And Paul's behind her going like,
I saw that picture.
Oh.
Yes.
then when Paul had
Wow.
his brain surgery, he's walking with a walker with a big bandage on his head, and she's behind
She's
him.
behind him.
It's the best. I use it really to say that's how this foundation was born. That's how it was
Yes.
born, because of those 2 situations. And we like I said, turning something really dark into something really
Yes,
really
that's what it's
Yeah.
all about.
Yep, that's right.
You know, not to get stuck within the grief of it all, but turning that in and outward
yeah
and helping others.
yeah.
And with that, you've helped yourself. Like
Yeah,
you said, your
absolutely.
perspective about it has
It,
changed.
it has. Yeah, I'm much more involved in a lot of different things now than I was, before Paul passed.
And Paul was a perfect example of always, looking beyond himself. He knew he was in the battle of his life, yet he'd always make time to go out there and chat and see how everybody else was doing,
Yeah.
and show up at their fundraisers or reach out to somebody who's having a really tough time and just cheer them on.
He's definitely that way. He loved talking about good things that happened to other people. Like was a really good uncle to all the
Yeah.
his nieces and nephews, because he how people say, "Oh, great job," but you don't really know whether they really care. Well, he would be like really very really proud of his nieces and nephews and his daughters. I mean, he was that way.
Yeah, you can always tell with people because they'll personalize it. Somebody will say, "Oh, great job," but they'll say, "Well, great job. I heard your daughter just had a recital. She did a really good job, and she did this and this
Yeah,
and this."
so he really knew.
Right, he
Yeah,
knew
yeah.
the facts. He wasn't just saying it. It wasn't lip service, and that was Paul Dostie.
No, he was
Right.
great. He was very funny too, very dry, really great sense of humor too. He was fun to be around.
Well, he's still alive and well, and so many people that just remember who
Yeah.
he was. And Joyce, you never met the man in person, but it's like you know him now because,
I know.
right?
I
Because
know.
of Steve and everybody keeping his name alive. But
In a way, you're making me think of my own dad, who was a mechanic and owned his own place. And he was always giving away stuff that he shouldn't. And I could hear my mother say, "You have to charge taxes." Like when the taxes they went up on something, some kind of oil. And my father says, "No, I'm not passing that along. I'll absorb that." But at his funeral, packed with people we never knew, and story after story saying, "Your father lent me a car when I didn't have any. Your father did this. Your father did that." And it was amazing.
He sounds like he's taken from the same
Yes.
cloth as Paul. I mean, that's the way he
Yes.
was. I mean, I told you I was helping him with his business, and he was driving me crazy. And his wife, Jeannie, I'd say, "Jeannie, I think I'm being a little too tough on him." And she'd say, no, he needs that, so,
Yeah.
but, he would do a few of the things I said to do, but then he'd always have a soft spot for somebody that was
Yes.
really struggling.
Yes.
And I do too, but I was trying to be the business guy there, but,
right.
Right.
but, he
Well,
was,
we need the businessmen.
Yeah,
It's kind
yeah.
of,
Yeah, yeah.
they're trying to,
yeah.
to do that.
Well, Steve, thank you so
Yes.
much for what you're doing with the CARE Foundation. I wish you a lot of success with the event. And it's just, I know there's going to be strides because you're just doing too much out there, and there's got to be a breakthrough at some point.
Well, thank
I'm an
you.
optimist, like Joyce we are, and
Yes.
I just feel that
Yes.
it's going to be a breakthrough.
Well, let me just, can I say one more?
Yeah,
thing?
go
So-
ahead.
So I just say, if you're listening to this and the story,
And/or watching.
watching, sure.
yeah.
I mean, and the story resonates with you, we'd love to have you as a sponsor. And we have different levels of sponsorship, and I can make available our website and so on. And we'd love to have you as a sponsor. Or if you're free on June 13th, come to the fairgrounds. It'll be a really great event for families, and my grandkids will be there. Everybody comes.
So Guilford, Connecticut Fairgrounds, and what are the hours of the event?
The doors open at 3, and we'll be running until 10 o'clock at night.
Okay.
And for those who may not be in Connecticut, maybe they want to take a trip. It's
Yeah, road
lovely.
trip, road
It's
trip.
lovely this
Yeah.
time of year,
Oh,
especially.
yeah. We go historic Guilford,
is
Connecticut.
beautiful.
Got the best town green.
Yeah.
Got the stone house.
This is
Yeah.
historic green,
Yeah.
right?
Historic
That-
green.
Yes.
That's right. Stone house is, I think, the nation's oldest stone house,
There you go.
and we have it. And I lifted it way back when.
There you go.
The Botox is getting,
Yeah.
What's the Stonehouse restaurant?
No, Stonehouse Building.
Oh, the
Stonehouse
building.
Restaurant
Is that still
another
there?
local masterpiece that kind of went out of business.
Yeah, I think
but,
they,
Well, yeah.
unfortunately.
yeah, but the
Did
Stonehouse.
hurricane kind of do something? I don't know. Something happened there.
But Steve,
So
thank you.
we have a website too.
Yeah.
If
Do
I
it.
don't
Let's
mention
hear
it, they're going to be mad at me.
Say it.
It's a pretty simple one. PDCare, KARE.org.
Wow.
And we will put that.
That's K with a K,
On
right?
this.
I mean, it's K with a K.
Yep.
Okay,
KARE.
PD Care,
Yep.
okay.
PDCare.org.
Well, thank you for expressing all this and people thinking about going forward with their grief and do something. When you take action to being sad or depressed or, grieving, whatever, it heals you with
It
inside.
does.
And
We still miss them, but
of course you do.
But it feels a little better
Yeah.
when you go to that fest and everybody's there, and
yes.
Yeah, it's really
yes.
cool.
And you're keeping all his energy alive.
Yep.
And Steve, on a lighter note, it feels good to be, opposite you right now, and we're not in football uniforms banging heads like we did back in high school.
Yeah, well, yeah, you were easy on me.
Yeah.
Steve, God bless you and your family.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for having What's Good with John and Joyce on, available on all streaming platforms. Subscribe for right now on YouTube, or right now if you can on YouTube for free, and share it with everybody you know. We are here. Good news, a soft place to land. Thanks so much for having us on. God bless.
Thank you. We love you.
Thanks,
you so
Steve.
Thank you.
much.
Thank you very much.
Hey, I heard you got engaged. Congratulations. Now it's time to book the DJ. And that's where we come in. Hi, I'm John Cadillac Seville with John Seville Entertainment, Wedding Wire, and the Knot 2026 Couples Choice Awards winner. You can call me directly if you like at 203-988-0658. We'll set up your free consultation, or go to johncaddyman.com. That's 203-988-0658 or johncaddyman.com. We offer excellence, peace of mind, and a great time for all. John Seville Entertainment, a name you know and can trust.